It's 6 o'clock, and this is the October 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Building and Standards Commission, and the meeting is now in order. The time is now 6 p.m. Roll call and work session will take place in our council, not in the council workroom, in the meeting center upstairs, which is open to the public. Here, the October 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Building and Standards Commission is called to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Roll call and work session. Michelle Anderson, here.
Here.
Kyle Rogers.
Present.
Greg Lahus.
Here.
Timothy Thompson. Casey Smith. Sean Hester. And I'm Mark LeGros. 2, 3, okay. The first order of business is to begin work session as identified on item 2 of the agenda. This is open to the public for observation only. Please be aware that interactions with commissioners and staff members is not legally permitted. And now I'm going to turn on the work session to Stephen Schubert, Chief Building Official.
Well, thank you again all for coming out and providing the city your time and your service. Here tonight, we have Bob Hager, who is our city attorney. We have Desiree, who is our senior code officer. She's going to be doing presentations tonight since these are code cases, and she has a lot more knowledge about them than I do. We have Jackie Nivens, who is the board secretary. We have Cammy McGee, who is administrative secretary or the manager, administrative manager. And then we also have our code officers. We have Rachel, Bruce, and Cody.
Cody, the code officer.
Should be in a movie.
Or sorry.
I have two personalities there.
His name is Cody. We just joke with him and call him.
Yeah, it's become subconscious for me. So I apologize.
It all started with the residents calling him Corey or Cody.
See, that you doing those
Yeah,
things.
It's only four.
And again, I'm Steve Schubert.
Mr. Chairman, because you only have 4 members remaining, that's 4 affirmative votes taking the action.
Correct. All right, in case you didn't hear that, since we have to have 4 votes, affirmative votes to pass anything, and since we're short one, we have to have a unanimous vote tonight unless we get an alternate. All right. That's right.
Friday, we're gonna kick it off with 192 South Freeport. I'm gonna go through some of these slides kind of quickly. We'll go over the nitty gritty when we get out to the chamber room. The 192 Freeport is located there off the South Freeport. It is a single family home, 1 story. It expands about 1,500 square feet. And it is located next to a commercial structure north of 196 South Freeport. The main structure was constructed in 1952, and the owner of the structure has owned this since 1996. So with this property, the owner is deceased. They passed away in December of 2024. Individuals started breaking into the property and vandalizing it, and then ultimately set it on fire in July of this year. So staff, found out that he was deceased. Once we started trying to make contact, we were able to locate through title search that there is a brother that is alive, and he is the executor of his will, and it's currently going through probate. But at this time, we sent letters not only to the deceased because we're required by law, but we also sent it to the executor, Stephen Hartman. In those notices, we required that a fence be placed around the property to secure the property because all the windows and doors were busted out due to the fire. Additionally, they have two accessory structures that are unsecured too. And we gave him a deadline of August 10th to get that done. Unfortunately, he was not able to do that financially. He's an older gentleman and he lives in Colorado. So we ended up actually abating or doing the work for him by putting up the fence. Additionally, we abated 3 dead trees off that property. And for the substandard structure, we gave him a deadline of September 10th, 2025. And unfortunately, he does not have the financial means to go forward with removing the structure. So these are just some of the property owners listed. There's no bank associated. Now, we do have those work that we've done that we do have some pending liens coming down. Those liens should be filed this week, so we're looking at a little over $8,000 that'll be on that property there for the kids. So this is what the current conditions are for the property. The fire did start in the garage and spread to the rest of the house. According to the fire department, it is a total loss. This is the rear of the home here. You can see the doors wide open. This is a view of the back of the garage. That's where the fire started and spread to the rest of the home. This is the living room. You can see sheetrock has been damaged throughout the home here. Different angles from the living room. This picture here on the left is an angle from a hallway or dining area that goes to the garage. And the kitchen also has been totaled in the fire. We also have these electrical wires that have probably been damaged additionally from the fire. You've got a sliding glass door on the side that is wide open. Now, kids have been in and out of this. There's graffiti throughout it. There's even footage of kids before the fire going in and out of the property. So we think it might have been arson, but they couldn't conclude in their investigation. We also have 2 vehicles that are considered junk vehicles that the city has separate cases on, and we'll work that through municipal court. And these are the 2 accessory structures that we have there unsecured. This door back here will not secure on this garage. And this is what it currently looks like. We did get a fence up, to prevent any further damage to the property or anybody from going in there and getting hurt or injured at this time. So tonight we'll be seeking an order to demolish all the structures on the property, including the main structure and the 2 accessory structures. We would like to give 30 days to the brother to get that done. If not, the city will go in and do the work and charge him the cost to do it. If he does not pay that, we will put a lien on the property. Any questions on that one? We ready to move to the next one?
Let's go to the next one.
All right. So our next one you should be familiar with is 407 Greenway Court. Show cause hearings, so that means we're just following up on the progress of those supplement orders that we have issued. Notice was given to all lien holders, property owners, and the bank. I'm gonna go to the next one. So if you recall, you guys back in December of 2024 did issue original order asking for him to make those repairs. We came back in February and we did some supplement orders because he got some things done, but didn't quite get to the point where he needed to complete the project. So we did that a couple of times. We came back in April. Again, not quite there. And then I did an update with y'all through a memo. He did get quite a bit of work done at that point in June, where he started installing the bathrooms and sheetrock and started the kitchen. So at this point, he's done all these items here. So he's done the roof. He's added in a new garage door. He's done the electrical, the heating, the plumbing. He's replaced windows. He put in a brand new front door. He has drained the pool multiple times, the swimming pool. And he is treated for rodents. Additionally, the whole house has sheetrock inside. It's all operable, livable. The only issue is there's one bathtub that he ordered that has not been delivered yet or installed. That is the only thing that is holding us up on giving him his final inspection, and that is the receipt for that bathtub. So it was ordered. We're just waiting for it to come in. The contractor said it should be installed on the 6th. of October. So once that bathtub's installed, we'll do the final inspection, and from what I could tell, it looked like it was going to pass. So those are just some before and after pictures. You can see where the windows have been replaced, trim has been, the rotted trim has been replaced, painted. New garage door there. That's that window in the back that was damaged really bad. They got new framing, new window on that. This overgrowth has been removed. The soffits and eaves do not have holes in them now. And that's another view from that window that was badly damaged, just the inside of the house here. Got nice wood floors in there now. And if you recall, this is the dryer vent that was allowing those rodents to get into the structure. Now we have a functional laundry room. And he does have a dryer vent cover on the outside. So this is the bathroom that we're discussing here. He has the shower. That's where that bathtub's gonna go right there, so. And we got a beautiful kitchen now. Now, this is the decking that was damaged. He did replace that, and you can see that the sheetrock is installed. Functional area now. And the famous swimming pool here has been drained. Now this picture's a little older. He has gone in and done some work on the balcony and painted the balcony too to match the trim that he has on the house. That's a recent picture of the pool there. So we do have a little bit of water on there. I have spoke to him. He is supposed to drain the rest of that out. So my recommendation is to move forward with discharging this case from the board. And the reason why is because it's not technically substandard anymore, right? It's not unsafe, it's not dangerous. Yes, we have one more item pending, but we have other remedies we can use if we need to do citations. We could look at doing that if he doesn't get it done within the next week. That would be something we would talk with Bob about, our legal team. But at this point, I don't think it's something that you guys should continue to have to come back for. I mean, it's just one bathtub at this point. Now, any other issues on the property, I know there's been concerns about the swimming pool, landscaping, maybe some erosion issues. That'll all be regular standard code cases that we'll start cases on and work through our legal process of issuing notices and then citation.
What are the plans on that pool? Does he specify what he's ultimately gonna do with that pool?
He-
Fill it in?
He said he'd
Fix it?
like it completely operable. He's talked about putting a cover on it, but as far as getting any official permits or anything like that, he hasn't filed anything. I'm not sure exactly what extent of work he'll need to do. That'll definitely be a bridge we're gonna cross here in the near future. If it continues to stay like this, that's a discussion we're gonna have to have. If, it may be something where the city may have to go in and abate it.
Okay.
It's an option. The city could go in and fill it if needed.
If this question's appropriate, do you think it was what we did that motivated him to get this done, or did he settle the lawsuit with the insurance company, or do we know?
I think it's us, to be honest. He
Yeah.
calls me like 3 to 4 times a day. He comes into the office, the ladies up front, Jackie, Mondana, they talk to him multiple times a day. Fidel, his contractor, comes in constantly giving us updates. Steve has been so kind to go out to the property with code compliance and basically hold his hand and walk him through this process. So I think at this point, you guys did your job. The whole point of the board is to get voluntary compliance. We've gotten to that point where we're just right there at the end. We would have liked to see that bathtub installed. He even tried calling other stores to get a bathtub, a different type of bathtub that fit in there, but he couldn't find anything, so. Last minute, but I will follow up with him, trust me. I talk to him daily. Any
You'll
other?
miss him when it's done.
Oh, no, I will not. We joke about him being on my taxes as an independent at this point. But yes, we keep in contact, so. Any other questions?
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one. So this is gonna be a new one for y'all. 631 Stratford. So we're gonna be looking to see if this structure is substandard. So this structure is located in the Stratford Manor area. It's in an HOA. It is a two-story home and it expands over 5,000 square feet. And the primary residence was constructed in 2001. And the property owners have owned it since 2003. Market value is around $1 million. So this is a lengthy case. I have been in contact with them since 2021, when I started to first get some initial calls. I had calls about high grass, just property maintenance issues. We actually have cited them at least twice before moving forward with sending them a letter for substandard structure. But in our conversations, I ended up having to take them to court for the grass. And I had mentioned multiple times about, hey, what are you doing with this structure? Why aren't we moving forward? And it's like, oh, well, we're getting, insurance money, just certain things that they were telling me, oh, I'm sending my kids to school. Kind of trying to work with them. They kept trying to tell me they were working on it, but didn't really go anywhere. So that's why we ended up starting the official case and serving them with the notices. So we did a courtesy notice, which we're required to do, sent an official notice of violation. And then they didn't pick up the mail because they obviously don't live there. They live somewhere else in Plano. So we also posted the notice on the property as required by law. So once they got the notice, they did reach out to us and we did set up a meeting and we discussed once again why they have not moved forward with it. And some of the excuses that we received was that they're sending their child to Harvard Law School. They did say that they did get a check from the insurance, but they didn't cash the check yet. And during that meeting, we asked for consent to go inside the property to inspect it. They kind of strung us along and gave us dates that they were going to meet us, never met with us. So we ended up actually doing a search warrant on the house. So we went in with a locksmith, removed the lock, went in and took all the pictures you're going to see today. So they were charged for that work too, to change out the locks. At this point, a last ditch effort to kind of get them to pay attention to us and actually sit down and have a serious conversation. We sent it to municipal court. I fined them for having a structure that was substandard. So last minute, an hour before court, they decided to pay their fines, which they're allowed to do. So $600 they paid, and we didn't have a court hearing, so we didn't have to have that conversation. So I filed it with y'all, and with the board, the Building and Standards Commission. And as of today, I received an email yesterday stating that the owners would not be here because they have a family and work emergency. And then today I received a follow-up email saying that the gentleman, the owner is in surgery all day. I guess he works for a hospital. I'm not quite sure exactly what he does for work, but at this point, they're non-responsive. So we did a title search on this property and we have some property owners, no mortgage holder, but we do have some involuntary liens. City of Dallas has a lien for $98,000. It's associated with an LLC. I tried to do some research on it, couldn't find any more information on that. But now they have a lien coming down the way that's going to be filed or was going to be filed this week. Well, guess what we got in the mail? Yesterday, a check. So they paid us for the work that we did, which was cutting the grass, removing some dead trees, and they had a very large fence in the back that fell. And I believe it was a large tree branch too that collapsed and it's kind of hanging down on the neighbor's property line there. So we had all that done. I think they got out pretty cheaply for that type of work. So that is pending payment. We'll see if that check actually gets cashed.
We'll get cash.
Right now. So once again, we've repeatedly reached out to them about the continuous issues that we have at the property. Our main concern right now is the property is partially gutted inside on the first floor. There are evidence of rats. In fact, our staff saw rats while we were inside the home and gave me the biggest scare ever. So it's been sitting there vacant and in my opinion, abandoned. They rarely do work. They do not maintain any kind of landscaping. It's constant. Every couple of months, we have to send them a notice or reach out to them. And now we're getting to the point where they're not responding and we're doing the work for them.
Is there any furniture at all in the home? Or is it completely
You'll
empty?
get to see what's in the home. I think you'll enjoy this. So this is what it looks like from the outside. It looks like a beautiful home. But as you get up closer on the left side, there is one window that's kind of shattered. It hasn't completely broken yet. Now, this is what it looks like when you go inside. So right when you walk inside, you do have the staircase, and you turn to the right, you can see it's been gutted. I believe that that there was a pipe that bursted during that freeze back in 2021. So I do have some concerns about some of the electrical that's lower on the ground, if it's been damaged or not. By the way, this house does have power, so that is concerning that it does have power and it's vacant. So as we walk further back in the house, I do have what used to be a kitchen. We have some open pipes here. You can see that there seems to be some mold growing on that sheetrock there on the right side. Now we start to go where we start finding the rodent droppings. Here is a bathroom downstairs where you can see that the rodents have climbed in and they were drinking out of the toilet. There is evidence of them being in the toilet from their droppings and urine being on there. As you go up the stairs, we have more droppings. And then we get up into one of the bedrooms upstairs, and it's pretty bad. And as I enter the bedroom, you can see that they do have some stuff that they were storing here that they have kind of packed up. And you can see there's holes throughout those items, and that is where our little friend was hiding and scared me. I did not know he was there. As I walk further back in that room, to the right side, there's a closet. I opened the closet and I saw this trail of urine and droppings there. And it goes to a door to the attic where I found a dead rat. So there is another room upstairs that is full of items. Did not go into that room completely. It smelled horrible, and honestly, I did not want to go in there. So and I wasn't able to actually squeeze in there. There's really not much room to walk through, but you can tell the lights are on according to this picture here. You can see the lights in the background. And then the picture on the right side is going to be the front of the house. Along the windows, we have a large crack that starts at the top and it goes all the way down to the foundation. There could be signs of the foundation shifting. There wasn't too much inside the home that showed that they had a foundation issue. However, we do have some concerns of the foundation on the outside. We have soil that's washing away, and this is several areas throughout out the back there is like that. I just didn't have enough room to put all the pictures in here. So we are concerned about that. And we'll probably need a structural engineer report from them saying that their foundation is in good repair. So I'm gonna leave this up to the board members. Basically, I would like to order for repair before we move to taking drastic steps to demolish the house. So I would like to do an order of repair. You guys, leaving it up to you, 30, 60, 90 days, however long you guys think is appropriate. And then we'll go from there. If they do not do anything, they do not pull a permit or anything like that, we will come back for a show cause hearing and I will request an order to demo them all. If they do pull a permit and start the work, then we'll look at doing what we've done in the past, which is make a tight timeline with conditions of citation if they don't stay on top of it. Any questions on that?
What would the order of repair say?
It's just gonna be
Make it habitable or
just, yep.
within code?
Basically,
whatever.
like you did for 473.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just not gonna list the whole
It's not
title
gonna
of
list
it
it.
because I don't believe they're gonna meet it. They have not been responsive at all to me.
So 90 days, everything that's required to bring it into compliance.
I would say
I like 30.
30 days would be
It's-
what
I
we
think it's
encourage.
Yeah,
30
I think
days,
it's
they've been
possible.
non-responsive. If they come in and pull a permit, we will work with them.
What-
Now, if they stop
I'm-
working, we will move forward. Sorry, Bob.
All right, why don't you do this? If you wanna keep them on a short timeline, they got to pull a permit in 30 days, they gotta completely repair it in 60. They don't pull the permit, they don't get 60. And then we'll
That
do
sounds
show
good.
cause.
Yep.
And then the other thing is, I would recommend to you that we get an engineering report within that 30 days of your comments. Cause I was talking to Steve ahead of time and what little I know about engineering, if that foundation hasn't cracked yet. But if it stays in that condition for very long, it will.
I've been out on site. I have photos. The foundation does have issues. If it is not remediated soon, the foundation is going to fail. So they've got to get an engineer on that and they've got to get it remediated.
So pull permits and get a engineering structural report in the first 30 days.
Yep.
And then 60 days to repair.
Cause if they do, and then we can write the order, that if they don't pull the permit, then show cause immediate.
That sounds good.
Is the structural engineer's report, I guess, well, you put a lien on it, but. Worst case scenario, is that a waste of effort?
The engineer would be at their expense.
Well, I
That's-
know, you
that's
put a
what-
lien on it, but. If it's been sitting there for,
Well, no, they need to get the engineer,
Or you-
the property owners need to get
We-
it. If
I
they
don't
don't,
want,
then-
I don't want the city to end up owning this tract lane,
Right.
which is where it's headed.
that's fine. That's where I'm going.
Any word from the HOA? on this?
I'm sure they'll
Have
be here
people
in
in
May.
the crowd. We'll open it up to the public.
I'm sure that when the time comes for us to take testimony, I think
Okay.
that whole row will probably be ready to talk to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and part of the reason that Desiree is making the recommendations that she is because she has been trying to get these homeowners in compliance for a considerable amount of time already.
In prior discussions with the homeowner, has there been any indication what their intent on the property is?
They just told me they can't afford it because they're sending their child to Auburn Law School.
Well, they're living somewhere.
Oh, they're living in Plano. They have two very nice apartments over there. From what I understand from the marshals, our court marshals that served in the paper to come to court. The wife lives in one unit that she's renting or they're renting and he lives in another unit. So they have money for 2 apartment units and I don't quite know why, but yes.
Well.
But if they were here, they could.
Yeah.
I get it too. I get it too. But there's been really no direction on them moving forward. I can't even get them to cut the grass at this point, so.
They've been very non-responsive.
And when they found out that I removed the fence, and the dead trees and the collapsed branch in the back. The wife called and it was not a very good conversation. She was very angry with me that we went on the property to do that. So, I just don't think, either they just don't care or, I mean, they're not here tonight, so. And they gave them a month advance notice. We only have to give them 10 days for the hearings. Gave them a month. I sent it through email, I sent it first class certified mail, posted on the property and sent it to the other address in Plano. So they're well aware of it.
Any other questions for Desiree? Okay, if there are no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and close the work session. Give us 10 minutes and then we'll reopen downstairs in chambers. Commissioners? All right, it's 6:37. We're going to go ahead and open up the public meeting of the Building and Standards Commission. Okay, just a second. All right. Item number 4, citizens' appearance. Is there anybody here to speak that's not of anything that is not on the agenda? Thank you. Seeing as there's none, we'll move on to item number 5. Item number 5 is the approval of the April 3rd, 2025 Building and Standards Commission minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? If so, is there a motion by the board to approve the minutes?
Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of the April 3rd, 2025 meeting.
Think I have a motion to
second.
approve and seconded. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Minutes have been passed. Okay. Item number 6. This is a public hearing to determine if the structure located on the property addressed as 192 South Freeport Parkway in the city of Coppell, Dallas County, Texas is substandard and violates the city of Coppell ordinance Article 15-14-2, adopting the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code and amending portions therein. Desiree, could you present the case, please?
Thank you. So 192 South Freeport is a single-family residential one-story home that expands 1,500 square feet. It is north of a commercial structure at 196 South Freeport. The main structure was constructed in 1952 and the owner purchased it in 1996. So the owner is deceased. He passed away in December of 2024. And during that time, we had several individuals breaking into the home, vandalizing the structure. And then in July, we actually had somebody set a fire in that structure. According to the fire department, it was a total loss. We did try to reach out to the owner at the time, and that is when we did find out he was deceased. So Joe Charles Hardman is deceased, and we did a title search on the property to locate any next of kin or any wills on file. We did locate Stephen Hardman. He is the executor and brother to Charles or Joe Charles Hardman. And he is currently in the process of going through probate with this property. So we have been in contact with Mr. Hardman, Stephen Hardman, for some time now. We did finally have to issue a formal notice telling him that this structure would need to be demolished due to its condition and damage from the fire. So in our formal notices, we did ask that he secure the property either by boarding it up or placing a fence around the property. We gave him a deadline of August of 2025. Unfortunately, he was unable to meet that deadline. The city had to step up to abate that issue by placing a fence around the property so that no one would enter the property and get injured or additional damage would take place at that property. Furthermore, we asked that he have the property repaired or demolished by September 10th, but unfortunately he was unable to do so because of his financial situation. So we did send out formal letters to the estate of Joe Charles Hardman, along with the brother Stephen Hardman, letting them know about this meeting. Additionally, we reached out to, I think it was the sister we also notified, but she wasn't technically listed on the will as being next of kin, but we did reach out to her. So the city did go in and do that work that we spoke about, putting up the fence. We also removed 3 dead trees off of the property, and we currently have invoices pending for that work. This week, the lien should be filed on the property, and we're looking at about $8,000 worth of fees that will be placed on that property. So this is the current condition of the property. The fire started in the garage and moved to the main structure. We have doors and windows that are busted or open. unsecured. This is a view from the rear of the property. The garage has collapsed. The members for the garage and part of the structure are damaged. So this is a view of the living room. The sheetrock has been damaged in the living room. This is a view of the, I believe it's the kitchen or dining area. We also have a view of, on the left side of the garage, you can see the support beams there are damaged, and another view of the dining room. Here you can see the kitchen has been extremely damaged. The sheetrock has been damaged from the fire, and then that fire did spread to some of the bedrooms in the back. So we do have several unsecured doors at this property. We have a sliding glass door on the side of the property that the glass was busted out and is currently wide open. And then the front door is also unsecured. Additionally, we have 2 junk vehicles on the property, which we have pending cases for, and we will look at abating those in the near future. Additionally, we have 2 structures, accessory structures on the property that are unsecured. The one in the back there that's bigger or larger, its door does not close and lock. We attempted to secure that. So at this point, we have placed a fence around the property to prevent any more damage to the property and to prevent anybody from getting injured that decides to go inside the property. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and ask for an order for demolition and give the property owner or the next of kin 30 days to remove the structure. At this point, we don't believe that the structure can be repaired. It's a dangerous structure and it needs to be removed along with the 2 accessory structures because it'll be, those structures are wide open and nobody's here to take care of the property. The next of kin is located in Colorado. So we're just leaving those wide open for further damage or destruction. So I would like to request an order for demolition at this time. And that concludes my presentation. I request that my testimony in this presentation be accepted and enter into the record as evidence in the case.
So requested. Please admit that presentation as evidence. Any questions or discussions by the commission? For Desiree? Any questions for Desiree?
Mr. Chairman, if you would, just call, see if anyone would like to offer any testimony.
Yes.
I know that the owner will probably not, the owner's deceased, but the estate, we don't anticipate them
Okay.
coming in.
Is the executor here?
No, that would be Mr. Hardeman.
Okay. Okay, is anybody here to speak for or against this particular matter? If not, okay. In that case, the applicant is not here to present their case. I would, last chance before I close the public hearing on this case. Okay, no questions or discussions by the board. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, if you would, as a result of the hearing and the evidence in the case, I would ask the board to discuss, consider, and enter an order to have the house, make sure I've got the address correct, 192 South Freeport, being the John Best Abstract 1508, page 665, tract 15, 1.18 acres, to order its demolition within 30 days by the owner, and if the owner or the estate fails to remove the structure before November 3rd, 2025, that the city will cause the removal and have a lien placed on the property and charge the estate the cost of the removal. All structures on the property, that is correct.
Do you want to make a motion on that, in that regard? Yes, somebody.
I move that we issue an order as described by Bob.
Okay, and then that order that I read, basically, I'm gonna hand to the chairman, and that's what's in the order.
Okay,
To remove all the structures, they have 30 days. If they're not removed on or before the 3rd of November, then at the 6th of November or anytime thereafter, the city may remove all the structures. Charge the estate the cost of the removal, And if it's not paid, a lien will be placed at 192 South Freeport.
So ordered.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Okay, so ordered then. Item number 7. Public hearing, 407 Greenway Court. Item number 7 on the agenda is a show cause hearing to determine if the structure located on the property addressed at 407 Greenway Court in the city of Coppell, Dallas County, Texas, complies with the ordered action given by the Building and Standards Commission within the allotted time provided and within the standards outlined in the City of Coppell Ordinance, Article 15-4, adopting the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code and amending portions therein. Desiree, before you present the case, want to ask if there's anybody out here who's going to speak for or against this. If so, please stand up. Let's take your oath, please. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the Building and Standards Commission is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Okay, Desiree, please.
Before the hearing, we did prepare notices to notify all lien holders and associated parties about the hearing tonight. We also posted it in the local newspaper. So 407 Greenway is a 2-story structure. It expands over 3,000 square feet. It's located on Greenway Court. It's the second residence to the north of Greenway Court. The primary residential structure was constructed in 1993, and the property owner purchased the property on or around October 11th of 2004. The home did have fire damage or a structural fire on May 28th of 2022. So to recap, what we've done with the board is in December 5th of 2024, the board did order for the property to be repaired on or before April 4th, 2005. The owner did come in and start the permit process for repairs. So we did come back and we had a show cause hearing for February 6th of 2025, where we ordered a supplement order. And we asked him to do additional actions to move forward with the repair processes. And then we followed up again in April because not all those items were completed, and we gave additional timeline for him to complete those items. There were some items that were repaired, including the roof at that time. And then additionally, I issued a memo to the board or the commission on June 25th, 2025, giving an update on what had been done. At that time, the bathrooms had been completed for the most part, except for one bathtub. Sheetrock was installed, kitchen was installed, staircase and flooring was being placed in, windows had been replaced at that time when we did the inspection. So this is just a general overview of kind of what has been done on the property. The only thing remaining at this point for him to get a final inspection and pass the final inspection is to install one bathtub. He has ordered the bathtub. It is on its way, and his contractor has stated that it should be installed by October 6th. After he installs it, he will get with our building inspections department, schedule a final inspection, and that permit will be closed out once he passes that inspection. So these are just some pictures of what it looked like before and after. As stated, he has redone the roof, he has redone the trim, windows, and he has painted the house along with installing a new garage door. Additionally, this was one of the windows we were concerned about originally. He has replaced the window frame and placed in the new window there. He removed the vines that were growing on the property and on the structure. Additionally, he did repair any holes on the exterior to prevent pests from entering the home. This is another view of that window that was repaired. He has installed new flooring throughout the home and new carpet. This area here is a picture of the dryer vent that was open where the rats were entering the home. And at this point, he now has a functional laundry room, and there is a dryer vent cover on the outside to prevent any pests from entering the home. So this is the bathroom that is missing the bathtub. You can see the pipes there sticking up next to the shower. We are just waiting on that bathtub to be delivered, and he will schedule that final inspection. Here is a view of the new kitchen that has been installed. It's fully functional. This is a picture of the roof decking that had damage originally. He has replaced that wood when he did the repairs for the roof, and now we have sheetrock in there and we have a functional area. These are pictures of the pool in the rear of the home or side of the home. We're just showing that we have new windows in there, new roof, and the pool has been drained. This is a recent picture of the pool. There is a small amount of water in the pool. He is to drain that and keep it clean. I have discussed with him this last week that he needs to do that. He did also have brush on the property that has since been removed. I asked him to remove that. He did it immediately. I believe that he will get this done. If he does not, he will receive a notice of violation from us, and we'll work through our legal process and then issue citations if he fails to move forward with compliance. So this is just a recap of everything he has done. We are just waiting on that bathtub to be installed for him to get that final inspection. At this point, the structure does not meet the definition of substandard. He has done what he needs to do to bring it up to standard, minus that one bathtub. So at this point, we're going to ask that an order of discharge be issued so that we can remove this case from the docket for the commission. That concludes my presentation. And I request that the testimony in this presentation be accepted and entered into the record as evidence in this case.
Thank you. Please enter her testimony in as evidence, please. Is the applicant here? Okay, since he's not here, is anybody here to speak for or against this issue? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Patrick Bolton. I live at 403 Greenway Court. I would like to note that the last Building and Standards Commission meeting was on April the 3rd, and there was a deadline of July the 3rd, which has obviously gone by 3 months. Here we are 6 months later. I realize you're all volunteers, but nevertheless, I think this is just an example of how this project has slipped for 3 years. I would like to ask a question regarding the certificate of occupancy, specifically why it does not include the pool and yard work, because for new construction, it most certainly would include any pool or yard work included in that new construction. Am I allowed to ask this question now and then carry on talking afterwards?
You can ask
It's
the
not
vote.
really appropriate for us to answer questions. You're here to offer testimony. This is a hearing and show cause hearing. If you want your question answered, you're entitled to an answer, but just not at this hearing.
Okay, well, that's a question. I would like to know why the pool and yard work is not included in the certificate of occupancy. I think it ought to be, because that would push the owner to do that work. Once he's got the certificate of occupancy, where is the pressure on the owner to do the pool and yard work and complete that? I
will say this to you. Our job, this board's job, is to determine whether or not the house is substandard. The testimony of the code enforcement officer that's in charge of this is the building is no longer substandard.
Good to hear.
Okay, but that's our jurisdiction. If it's a code issue, high grass, swimming pool broke, that's code enforcement issue. It doesn't make the building substandard. It's a code violation, and those cases are handled in municipal court. This board, when it's acting in this capacity, is to determine whether or not a building is substandard, and if it is substandard, order the repair. Those repairs have been made, then their charge is done. This isn't the code enforcement board, it's the substandard building commission.
Understood. Is there a separate code enforcement board?
Yeah, it's the municipal court. You get a ticket or you get a notice of violation, and it's handled by the municipal judge.
Okay, thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
I would like to note that the pool has been, in my experience, cleaned out 3 or 4 times. The first time the contractor pumped the, I call it effluent because it's pretty dirty, black, gungy water down to the sanitary sewer through the effectively the clean out at the DE filter. The second time a different contractor, couldn't find the clean out on the property and persuaded me to allow him to put it down my clean out in front of my property. And then recently, the contractor had no idea where the clean outs were. He didn't ask to use mine. I certainly didn't volunteer it, and he just put the effluent onto the ground, which I think is a violation. I would like the certificate of occupancy. I think they ought to know where the clean out is located on the property. And the final note I had was, I thought appliances had to be installed in the kitchen, and the picture was just shown very quickly, but are the appliances installed in the kitchen?
They have to be capable of, if they want to buy a stove or refrigerator, that's not necessarily included. The owner would supply that and hook it up.
Okay, so the appliances are not required for the C of O?
There, let's be clear, you don't get a CO on a residential house.
Okay,
You have final inspection.
okay,
So if the wiring's there, the gas is there, there's no washer and dryer there, but the hookups have to be there and they have to be operable. And what Desiree has told us is they're in place and they're operable and they meet code.
okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Mhm.
Well, that's all I had to say. I don't know if I'm for or against. I guess from what I've heard, I'm for, but with caveats, and I think I've explained those. I think I'm going to become your best friend, Desiree, because I really want to see this work done quickly. So we have a property next door with a decent front yard and with a pool that operates and doesn't accumulate black sludge that gets pumped out onto the yard every 2-3 months. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Bolton before he leaves? Thank you, Mr. Bolton.
Okay.
Anybody else here to speak for or against? Okay. I'm going to close the public meeting. So any questions or discussions by the board?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as a result, Desiree has prepared the appropriate order discharging this house. And he will be required to take care of his property as all property owners in Coppell are. And Desiree or someone from code enforcement, if he doesn't, we'll pay him a visit.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're gonna now where is it? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna have a motion to discharge this.
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with the order of discharge.
Okay, I have a motion to go with forth the order of discharge. Have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Okay, so ordered. Item number 8. Public hearing to be held to determine if the structure located on the property addressed at 631 Stratford Lane, Stratford Manor Block A, Lot 8, in the city of Coppell, Dallas County, Texas, is substandard and violates the city of Coppell ordinance, Article 15-4-2, adopting the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code and amending portions therein. Desiree, if you please.
Thank you. 631 Stratford is located in Stratford Manor.
It's a two-story structure, expands over 5,000 square feet. The primary structure was constructed in 2001 and the owner purchased that property in 2003, and the market value is approximately around $1 million. This case is a lengthy case. We've been in contact with this property owner for some time, even before official notices were issued for the substandard structure. We've been in contact with them for property maintenance issues such as high grass. During our contacts with them, we ended up having to go to municipal court for a high grass violation. And during that time, myself and the prosecutor from municipal court discussed with them what they were going to do with this substandard structure. Unfortunately, those discussions didn't go very well. They didn't seem like they wanted to move forward with repairs at the time. So that is why we moved forward with issuing the notices that we are required to do by law. We started with a courtesy notice and then moved on to an official notice and ended up having to post the final notice in December 26th of 2024 because the owner would not pick up their certified mail. Once they received the notice, we did have a meeting with the owner. We discussed why they had not been moving forward with the project. They said that they did get some insurance money, but it wasn't quite enough to do the type of repairs that they're wanting or get the type of carpet or flooring done in the property. Additionally, they had mentioned that they were sending a child to Harvard Law School, and they didn't really have the financial means to move forward with doing the repairs to this property. Furthermore, during that discussion, staff did request consent to go into the property to document the current conditions in the interior. They did initially set up some meetings with us, but continually attempted to brush it off or reschedule. At one point, we did show up at the property at a scheduled time, and they were a no-show. So we moved forward with filing the case with the municipal court for the structure being substandard. 1 hour before our pretrial hearing, the owners decided they were not going to show up for court and just pay the citation, which was about $600. So we were unable to speak to them again. So we moved forward with just filing it with Building and Standards Commission. At this point, the owner did reach out to me yesterday saying that they were going to be unable to attend this meeting due to a family and work emergency. I informed him that we would move forward with this meeting. It's already been scheduled and they had over a month advance notice about this hearing. He did reply back asking again for us to reschedule it, but unfortunately, we were not going to do that because they have been non-responsive since 2021 when the initial damage to this property took place with the frozen pipes that busted. So we did send the notices for that hearing, as I just described. Additionally, we sent out a notice for this hearing to City of Dallas because there is a lien on the property for $98,000. It's associated with the LLC that comes back to, I believe it's the husband, one of the owners of the property. Additionally, the city does have a invoice that is pending that was going to be filed for a lien this week, but we did receive a check in the mail for that cost of work that we did, which included mowing the yard, removing some trees, and removing a fence that was down. So that payment is pending with our finance department currently. It should not be going to a lien if the payment goes through. So at this point, we've notified repeatedly 631 Stratford owners about the issues at the property, including interior surfaces not in good repair, windows and doors not in good repair, pest infestation, and just generally it's unfit and unsafe for human occupancy. So this is a picture of the front of the home. It looks like a very nice home from the front. As you move up towards the door on the left side, there is a window that is shattered. It hasn't broken completely, but it is not in good repair. Once we've entered the home with our search warrant, because consent was not given to staff, we could witness that the part of the structure had been gutted down to the studs. As you move towards the back of the home, you can see there on the left, that would be where the kitchen is at. We have some open pipes there, sewer pipes. Furthermore, as we were walking through the home, we did see rodent droppings on the first level. We saw, especially in a bathroom where it looked like the rats had been climbing into the toilet to get water. And then as we went up the stairs, there was droppings on the stairs. As we made our way upstairs, we did find a couple of rooms that were infested with rodents. We actually did witness a live rat in the pile of items there on the right side. They have been burrowing through those boxes and making a nest in there. As we went into this room, there is a closet to the right side. We entered that closet because I did see that there was a hole that had been chewed underneath the door. It looked like rats had been going in and out of that closet. So I opened the door and I found that there was another door that led to the attic, and we located a dead rat and quite a bit of droppings in there where they've been entering the home through the attic. Additionally, we did try to inspect another room in the house. It was filled with boxes, and there was a strong odor coming from that room. So staff didn't go completely in that room. That's that picture on the left. But you can see on the back there that the lights are on in this structure. So this structure does have electricity, and it is vacant. On the right side there is a crack that extends from the top of the structure all the way down to the bottom. And this crack is located at the front of the home along the windows. It could indicate that there's shifting in the foundation and possibly foundation issues. Our chief building official did go inside the structure, and he did find additional cracking in the foundation. Furthermore, we did find on the outside that the soil is washing away from the foundation, and if this continues, they are going to have some structural issues with the property. So at this point, I'm going to request that an order for repair be issued to these owners. I strongly recommend going with 30 days to start off with. And then we would request that they come in and get a permit within the 30 days and give an engineer report, and then have the repairs completed within 60 days. But that would be totally up to the board or commission on how they want to go forward with that. If we don't see no progress, then we will move with an order of demolition. If they do come in, we will work with them and help them reach compliance and come back for a show cause hearing and do supplement orders. This concludes my presentation. I request that my testimony in this presentation be accepted and entered into the record as evidence in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Please enter Desiree's testimony into the record as evidence. Any questions for Desiree?
Would the engineering structural report be provided to code enforcement?
Yes, we work closely with Steve. It would be delivered to his office or directly to him, and then he would forward it to us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Is there anybody here to speak for or on behalf of this case? Nobody's here to speak? Okay. Everybody who's going to speak, please stand up. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the Building and Standards Commission is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So, God. Thank you. All right. You first, I guess.
Hello, I'm Jason Ramey, 630 Stratford, right across the street. I've lived in the neighborhood for over the last 10 years. Our neighbor have seen him very few times. He has basically abandoned that home. I'm primarily here because of security and safety concerns that impact me and my neighbors and the people around us. We've seen multiple instances. We put cameras up on the front of our house. We've seen multiple instances of people trespassing on the property late at night. We've called the police. We've called different people. There are more people wandering through that place than there should be. We've also had concerns with smells coming from the house, the rodents that there's evidence of impacts us as being neighbors. We end up with extra stuff that we don't need in our backyards as well, or in the front yard in my case as well. So we've seen him put his house up for market on several times, listed at an extremely high price, take it back down. He doesn't show a whole lot of interest in fixing anything with the property. So I would strongly support moving forward with an order to repair this and to stop making this our problem. There are many from my neighborhood that are here to speak to it as well. So.
Okay, any questions? In relation to, you Where are you? Next door? across
I'm
the-
directly across the street.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
George Cooper?
Hi, my name is George Cooper. I live at 706 Stratford. I've been there since 2018. Ever since we moved into the neighborhood, that house has been vacant. The first thing I noticed is the deterioration inside the house. Now, our home suffered 7 burst pipes during that storm in February 21. We had 2 ocean-going steel containers in our driveway for 12 months, and we were out of our home for 11 months. So this is in no way to say you can't fix a house that has been damaged by this storm. I have 3 kids in college. They're not Harvard Law School, but they are A&M and OU and in New York. So, you know, you could afford these things as a physician. He is a physician, by the way, because I happened to be driving down the block one day, and I think this is good background for you guys. And I saw a man in front of the house in scrubs. I said, "Oh, okay, let me stop." And I said, "Hi," you know, I introduced myself. He introduced himself. I said, I didn't know his name with the house. I didn't associate that. I said, "Are you thinking about buying this house?" And he said, "I own the house." And I said, "How long have you owned it?" And he told me, and I said, "Are you going to fix it up?" And he said, "Oh, sure. I'm planning on living here." He said, "Sure." So we've been fed as an HOA. When I told my fellow HOA guys this, they said, "Oh boy, you know, that's the same story we've heard many, many times." So I just think to help flesh out the disaster that this house has become, you need to know one more thing about our neighborhood. And you know, I'm not a pro HOA guy at all, but I like my neighbors. So I play by the rules. So you fix up things, you do things, and you play by the rules. We have a significant number of small children in our neighborhood. And God forbid something weird happens and somebody's inside this house that shouldn't be and grabs a kid and does something weird. You know, I mean, that's just a concern that I think all of us who have kids have. You know, we have a school bus stop at the end of the block at Stratford and DeForest. Kids walk down that street every day. They walk up every day. And, you know, it's just it's not unsightly, you know, but it is a hazard in many more ways than just the rat infestation. You know, if we can get a couple of coyotes from my yard to go in there and eat the rats, great. But I don't think that's going to happen, you know. So thank you for your time. I hope that kind of fleshes out things a little bit. I'm not sure what else I could add, you know, if you have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Cooper? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Jeff Cooper, I guess.
No relation.
McKay?
The only one you'll find, right? So I'm probably one of the newer neighbors here, and I think now time is flying. It's probably going on 3 years. But when I first was introduced to the problems of this property was just me just strolling down the sidewalk, and it was clearly evident that the property was vacant. Things have just progressively seemed to get worse over time. Everything that you heard Mr. George Cooper say here just previously, I would just concur with all of that, agree. I know we talk about the overgrown yards and things like that, and as of even today, I just took a picture, you know, it's about 2 foot yard of grass where there is grass. The only reason the rest of the yard looks tidy is because it's dirt. They've let the whole yard die, right? So, where there is grass though, right now it's overgrown one yet again. I was here at the last court appearance where Desiree had the owners there. Um, just extremely disrespectful people. They have no self-awareness whatsoever. Desiree, if you ever need help with anything, let me know. I appreciate everything that you've done. This is not easy work. And I think it takes the collective here of this group to really push things forward because I feel right now Desiree's been a face of a lot of unfortunate, uncomfortable situations and conversations. I think this group here needs to help reinforce things collective as a town to help really push this forward. This isn't something that just happened yesterday. It's years and years in the making. And I feel this person's manipulating the system. They clearly are. They don't live in our neighborhood. They're not respecting anything with our town. I think it's time that we do something that really helps push this forward and helps us continue to cherish what we have here that we hold dear here, all living as residents. So that's all I have. Like I said, I have pictures of the overgrown grass. That seems probably trivial at this point, but I just wanted to come up here and represent with my fellow neighbors to let you know that, as you can see, everything George had said, the one thing that stuck with me that I will say is two more items I would add just to reiterate. The kids, the children that walk up and down the sidewalk, to and from school, the bus stops at DeForest. Also on record, I believe it's the adjacent property off of DeForest, behind that property where I've seen two vandals enter from that property into that other property and trespass on the property. I think it's part of record where it's been reported to the police. So there are date stamps on that as well. In addition to that, the coyotes I've seen to and from that property multiple times. Again, as George had mentioned, I have young children. We have other young children in the neighborhood. Very concerning altogether. I guess, conclude with that and just thank everyone for their time. I know this is not easy on anybody, but appreciate everything you guys are doing to help push us forward.
Mr. Cooper, before you leave, go ahead and state your address for the record, please.
Yep, I'm sorry, 713 Stratford Lane.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Cooper? Okay, thank you. I guess you're Miss Tyler, right, though?
My name is Mary Knight Tyler. My husband and I and our two children who are grown now grew up in this.
Your address?
I'm sorry.
State your
Neighborhood 619 Stratford Lane.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I am in violent agreement with everything, my neighbors have said. And I am also going to stress they are manipulating the system. I know there are laws. My dad was a lawyer. Got in trouble a few times. And we, you guys are, I guess you're volunteers. I learned that. Wow. Maybe that's something we need to change. But no, meaning you get, paid. Get paid. So that people like this cannot manipulate the laws, and that the homeowners, we are being, hurt financially because of that home. Our homes are not worth, the same amount because that home clearly is abandoned. And a couple of my neighbors said this. He only acts an hour before each of these deadlines. And so if you go by the property right now, you can clearly tell it's abandoned. And that is the problem. So I am for the tight timeline, and I know I can't ask questions, but is there a tighter timeline that can be enforced? Because I think it should be an hour. Okay, I'll give him 24 hours because he is entitled, he believes he's entitled to do this.
As the city attorney, I would not recommend a different timeline.
I can't hear you.
As the city attorney, I could not recommend a tighter timeline. I have to allow it to be reasonable, and I think 30 days is reasonable. Anything less than that is probably not reasonable. Not because of you, it's because of him. I have to honor his rights too. I know it's been upsetting. This is not the first time we've had a problem child on Stratford during my tenure as city attorney. And so, but I have to give him and his wife their constitutional right to a reasonable timeline.
Can you please pull up the timeline again, Desiree?
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to give them advice. It's not going to be less than 30 days.
So if, I know I can't ask questions, so it's really difficult, but if he comes in an hour before and hands over an engineering report and pulls a permit, because we have on Stratford had another individual manipulate the
I'm familiar
permitting
with them
system,
too.
which is what you were referring to, correct?
Yes,
And that is my fear. This is going to be going on for years and years and years, after there have already been years of his abuse of our neighborhood.
I understand.
And not my children, but their children. Clearly, this is a hazard and a very
We're not.
serious situation.
I'm
So,
not taking this lightly. I'm gonna have to ask the city council at some point in time to tear down a $1.5 million house in our city. I do not relish doing that.
I know you can't give me legal advice, but I want to find out, should the HOA, like, should we be filing civil suits against him or something like that? You can
could-
nod your head.
Yes. Yes, there are civil remedies because there is an HOA that are available to you that are not available to us.
Okay. Am I allowed to speak to you like in a meeting to understand the laws, or you can
I
refer
can't-
me to, can you refer
I
me
give
to
you
somebody?
Legal advice for your HOA.
Can you refer me to an HOA attorney?
I could.
That would be awesome, Mr.
I will
Hager.
be happy to do so.
Okay. Desiree, I don't know, you can send it to our contacts.
We'll get it to you.
Okay.
I have your address, so we'll get it to you.
And so if something does happen on our block, it
What do
just
you mean?
happens.
What does that mean?
A child gets dragged into the house, there's vandalism, there's a fire like at that other property. It just happens.
Well, that can happen anywhere in town. All those things.
But it clearly is an abandoned house.
I understand.
So it doesn't just happen anywhere.
It could. It doesn't.
Okay, yes, it could. We could get struck by lightning right
Right.
here, right now.
I get hit by a car when I go out in the parking lot. So
But
I can't
because
tell-
it is clearly an abandoned looking property,
Like I
then
said,
it
it wouldn't,
attracts the type of individuals down our street
Madam-
that are more likely to create or perpetrate crime.
we wouldn't be here if this wasn't serious. It's serious. I get it. I understand the neighbors. I understand your frustration. We're gonna do the best we can, but I gotta do it within the bounds of the law. And I gotta be, they have to act, and the city has to act reasonably. And so
Then I guess I'm for the 30 days.
we're gonna pay a lot of attention to this owner and his wife.
And then I don't remember how the order is gonna be written. Is there gonna be then if he does those two things, they're gonna be,
Bob, could you go over it one
Well,
more time?
the proposed order I have is that the property owner will be required to pull a building permit to make the necessary repairs in compliance with the Texas Residential Building Code, the Electric Code, the Plumbing Code, and the Maintenance Code. Within 30 days, they must obtain a structural engineer inspection and report and file it with the building official. Within 30 days, they must abate all of the vermin and rodent conditions that are on the property.
so from the 31st to the 60th day.
In the event that they do not comply with 30-day requirements in this order, then we will seek an order of demolition.
Bob, real quick, I do have a pending case for the rodent, so I was gonna try to abate that after we issue the final notice. I was gonna give them maybe 10 days and then
Then
move forward.
great, they can be in compliance with that condition.
Excellent, okay. So I'm gonna try to get the rodents taken care of before this.
Yeah, because the rodents bring the coyotes.
You mean
bring
within the
possums.
first 30?
It's gonna be a separate case. It's gonna be worked as a regular code compliance case. So I've already issued what we call a courtesy notice on the door. We have to send a first class certified mail and post it on the property. I'll give them probably 7 days because that's reasonable according to law for them to come in and abate, show me that they have invoices for a pest control company to treat for those rodents. If not, I'm going to get a warrant and go inside and treat on the inside and outside for the rodents. Also, the grass is pending abatement too.
So then he'll let you go do that. He'll let you abate the rodents.
He may or may not, and then he gets an invoice from us. He has 30 days or 60 days to pay. If he doesn't, a lien gets placed on the property. But that's one less health hazard you guys have to worry about. Additionally, your concerns about the structure being unsecured or anything like that, you guys are welcome to email me at any time that you see trespassing. I can ask our police department to do extra patrol on there. I've personally gone out and checked all the doors within the last month to make sure the property is secured. I'm happy to do that for y'all anytime. You just gotta send us an email or call me and I'll do what I can for y'all.
But okay, thank you. What about the yard being upkept so it doesn't quite look as abandoned as it does? Because he's not gonna do it unless you're on his case, which seems to be whatever that
So-
line is.
So the notice that's going to be issued for the final notice I'm issuing for the high grass has a clause in there. It says if he comes in violation again, where the grass becomes over 12 inches, if he comes in violation again after that notice, within a year from the date of that notice, the city can go in and abate immediately without notification. Now, I cannot require him to be planting ground cover unless we have some erosion issues. I can attempt to, but I don't know if that will be, I would have to talk to my city prosecutor if I can just cite him for not having ground cover. I'm not sure if that's something that would be allowed.
Because there's technically really not grass.
Yeah, but that might be something that you guys have in the HOA bylaws that you guys can enforce on your side. We can only do minimum standards. There's a very
Yeah, I can
thin
see that
line,
now.
yeah, we can't require certain
Appreciate
plants and stuff like that on those residential homes.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about the landscaping. I mean, just in general, following the processes.
We don't have a lot of authority on aesthetics.
We
Your
don't have a hammer.
HOA requirements do.
So, yeah,
So if structure's not substandard, that means it's structurally unsound or the conditions inside make it uninhabitable, then we have jurisdiction. But if it's just aesthetics, your
well,
HOA.
it's more than aesthetics, right?
Well, I understand. because
Establish
that's why
that.
We're here, so, but those are different issues.
Right. I learned from that other case that what your jurisdiction is around the substandard building. So yeah, I guess the best thing I got out of this is you're gonna send me a referral for an HOA attorney.
Well, hopefully we'll get an order from the board and we'll get them on Desiree's radar and their radar.
I'd like to add one other thing. I do have a pending erosion case on that property. I will get with our city prosecutor for the municipal court. I mean, at the end of the day, all we can do is issue citations for that. And that doesn't take care of the problem, but we can discuss issuing a citation if they don't come in and have a discussion, or if they just pay it, then I can talk to the city prosecutor about moving towards issuing citations every week or every day, but he would have to be comfortable with the case for me to do that. I would have to get legal advice from him.
Is that something the public at some point can also have an audience with?
Yeah, you can come and testify. Court, municipal court, you can come
In-
and
in
testify at
municipal
municipal court. You'll give your information to Desiree, she can give it to the prosecutor.
And I also, if you I've gotten handwritten letters or typed up letters before, and I've provided that to our prosecutor. Any of the letters I get, documenting the issues with the home, I always provide all that information to him too.
Okay. Well, I learned a lot. Wish there was more hammers in your hands. But I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak? Okay, we can close the public hearing.
Well, I'll try to read this again. With regard to 631 Stratford Lane, the city seeks an order that the property owner must pull an appropriate legal building permit for all interior and exterior work in compliance with the Coppell Residential Building Code, the Electric Code, the Plumbing Code, and the Property Maintenance Code. Within 30 days of the signature of the order, that the property owner must obtain the services of a licensed Texas structural engineer conduct an appropriate inspection and file a reclamation plan for the foundation pair with the building official within 30 days, that they will abate vermin and rat infestation on the property. And within 60 days, complete all the work as a result of the pulling of the permits as read. In the event that do not comply with any of the 30-day requirements, the city will seek a order ordering the demolition of the house at 631 Stratford Lane. And if it is not removed by the owner, that the city be permitted to remove it, charge the owner the cost of the demolition. If it's not paid, file a lien on the property.
Have a motion for that order?
I'd like to move that we issue the order as described by City Attorney, Mr. Hager.
I second the motion.
All in favor? So ordered. Okay. I believe, any other business?
I'd like to address the board, please.
Yes, go ahead.
My name's Michelle Anderson. This is my last official meeting with this board. I have retired and I'm electing further freedom in my life. But there's been some statements made here tonight that I would like to personally address to the board, address with the board, because I've had a lot of pride in participating on this board. This is a very serious board. We're all volunteers. I personally have had a long career as a lawyer. I know others have been in adjacent careers to building and that construction and that sort of thing. We too live in Coppell. We cherish our time in Coppell. We take a lot of pride in saying we live in Coppell and in living in Coppell. And whether or not we would be paid or we do this on a strictly volunteer basis, the level of dedication, work, and commitment that this board puts in would not change one bit, as we give every bit an ounce of dedication to this board. That's possible. And I challenge anyone to find a better board in another city. The end.
Thank you.
And
Thank you all very much.
thank you for your years of service.
And we really appreciate your service. If there's no other items, we're adjourned.